You've seen them. Maybe you are them. The one who doesn't answer texts, who sits in silence while others talk too loud, who smiles like it costs something, who walks into a room and somehow makes it feel colder. They don't cry when they should. They don't reach out. They don't say what they mean, if they say anything at all. And we call them cold. We assume indifference, distance, a lack of heart. But what if that's not what we're seeing? What if the coldest people aren't empty, but overfilled? Not broken by neglect, but shattered by care. Because behind every cold person, there was once someone who cared too deeply, too freely, too completely, until it broke them. Imagine loving someone so much that your breath changed when they entered the room. You memorized their silences. You apologized for things you didn't do just to keep the peace. You gave your attention like it was endless, your time like it wasn't yours, your empathy like it had no limit. And still, it wasn't enough. Still, you were left standing in the wreckage of promises that dissolved like sugar in rain. That moment, when you realize your depth of feeling was mistaken for weakness, is where the frost begins. Not with anger, not with rage, but with a quiet, sinking understanding. To survive, I must stop feeling this way. So you do, slowly, quietly. You turn down the volume on your soul. And one day, someone calls you cold. And you don't correct them. Because correction requires warmth. And warmth is dangerous. Here's the truth most never see. Coldness isn't the absence of emotion. It's the management of it. The body doesn't forget betrayal. It remembers every time you opened your hand only to have it slapped away. Every time you whispered, "I'm here," and were met with silence. Every time you loved louder than the other person could tolerate and were punished for it. And so the mind adapts. Not because it wants to shut down, but because it learned that to feel is to risk collapse. Psychology calls it emotional regulation. The soul calls it survival. This isn't detachment by choice, it's detachment by necessity. The cold person wasn't born without fire. They were burned too many times tending someone else's flame. And now they guard their heat like a secret. Let's look beneath the surface. Watch how the pattern unfolds. First, the overcarer gives everything. Their thoughts, their time, their emotional labor. They listen through the night. They remember birthdays. They absorb pain like a sponge. Then the loss. Maybe a relationship ends without explanation. Maybe a friend takes their kindness for granted. Maybe a family member weaponizes their vulnerability. And the wound isn't just the hurt. It's the realization, my depth was used against me. So the architecture of detachment begins. It starts small. A text left unanswered. A boundary spoken like a sentence. A refusal to explain oneself. Then it grows. I don't need anyone. I'm fine alone. Feelings are messy. But inside the heart is still beating, still hoping, still remembering what it felt like to be met halfway. Only now, instead of reaching out, they rehearse retreat. Their mind whispers, better to be lonely than lied to, better to be distant than dismissed, better to seem cold than to be seen as desperate. And so the shield becomes identity. The armor becomes skin. They forget they were ever soft. Healing doesn't begin with grand gestures. It begins with a single thought. Maybe I wasn't wrong for caring. Maybe the world was just unready for my depth. Transformation starts when the cold person dares to ask, what if not everyone will break me? It's terrifying, like stepping onto thin ice, knowing it might crack. But sometimes, someone shows up differently. They don't demand your warmth. They don't rush your silence. They sit beside you not to fix, but to witness. And in that moment, something shifts. Not overnight, not dramatically, but a door cracks. A text is sent. A story is shared. Halting, raw, real. This is not about becoming warm again. It's about reclaiming the right to choose when, how, and with whom to feel. Modern life rewards emotional speed. Quick replies, instant intimacy, curated vulnerability. But true connection, it respects slowness. It understands that some hearts don't open like doors. They thaw like rivers after winter. And yes, there will be setbacks. Old wounds will flare. Trust will waver. But each time they choose to stay present, even for a minute, they rewrite the story. I am not cold. I am cautious. I am healing. I am learning to care again on my terms. So the next time you meet someone who seems distant, pause. Don't assume emptiness. Ask yourself, what did this person love and lose? Who asked too much of them until they had to protect what remained? Because coldness is not the opposite of love. It is love that has been overused, misunderstood, exhausted. And empathy? Empathy is seeing the fire behind the frost, knowing that every wall was built by hands that once reached out and were not held. You don't have to fix them. You don't have to warm them. Just don't mistake their silence for absence, their distance for disdain. Sometimes the deepest feelings are the quietest. The most loyal hearts are the slowest to show themselves. And the coldest exteriors often guard the most tender souls. So be gentle with them, and if this resonates, be gentle with yourself too. Because maybe you're not cold. Maybe you're just tired from having cared too much for too long with too little return. And that's not a flaw. That's a testament to how deeply you can love, even now, even in the silence.